In this lesson, we're going to take a closer look at the account structure. And while that name sounds complicated, it's just about having the right products show up. Looking at the optimization pyramid again, we see that we're totally at the bottom, account structure. So this is really the foundation on which everything else will be built on. And here's what an account structure looks like. So up top, we have the AdWords account. We have 3 campaigns, and then that middle campaign is split up into 2 ad groups. And then one of those ad groups is split up into 2 product groups. And then one of those product groups is split up into 2 products. So this is what the Google Ads account looked like, and that campaign is a Google Shopping campaign. So one campaign can have multiple ad groups, one ad group can have multiple product groups, and one product group can be subdivided into other product groups or into the actual products. So right now, the campaign that I've just set up, it's very simple. It's one campaign, it's one ad group, and it's one product group. And this isn't wrong, but there's a lot of room for improvement. Because with this setup, one campaign, one ad group, one product group, I'm very limited in what I can do as an advertiser. I can only increase my budget or increase the cost per click for all of the products. So you'll see that account structure isn't really a fixed thing. It evolves as you get smarter about your campaigns and as you see what's performing well in your campaigns. So for example, I have a client where I implemented a new account structure about 6 months ago, and we had great results and we saw great improvements, but now actually the growth has plateaued in that account. So we're looking on defining a more detailed account structure to have even better results. And there it's always a balance. It's a balance between ease of maintenance and the granularity. Because if you get granular and if you can decide the cost per click for each individual product, for each individual search query, well, then you have total control. But doing that, if you have 1,000 products, is very hard. So you want to find a balance in there. And that's what we're going to look at in this lesson. So I want to take you through a couple of examples. And the first one is apes in space. So I've already set up a campaign, but this is a different example I could take. So for example, I could do shopping US, campaign targeting the US. I would have all posters as an ad group. Then I would have all the products as a product group. And I would subdivide that into bestsellers, which are the items. Let's say I define this by the items that have sold 5 or more times this year. And there are some 2 examples, Falcon Heavy poster, Tesla Starman poster. So these are 2 products that I've split off. And then I have the rest. So I had bestsellers, which sold 5 times or more. And then I have the rest, which didn't sell that well. And there, for example, you have the Neil Armstrong poster. Well, this is an example. I'm not saying this is the best one, but you see that it already does a lot more or will help us a lot more in deciding which cost per click to assign to which product. You can see that the best sellers, probably if they're popular, we're going to be spending a little bit more for each click because we want to get a lot of that traffic because we know it converts. While the other ones don't convert that well, so the CPC might be a little bit lower. Second example for Sports Unlimited, it's a sports retail store that I've just made up, and they sell a couple of brands. So here, for example, we have a campaign, Shopping Nike UK. So they sell a Nike, and we have a specific campaign targeting Nike in the UK. So we have, as an ad group, all Nike products. We have all products, and then we break it down into shorts, which is a product group. And there you have the Nike black running shorts, which is a product. You have the Nike white tennis shorts, also a product. And then you have a second product group, which are the shoes. So there we have the Nike Pegasus XC10 running shoes, which is a product. We also have a second campaign, a campaign targeting all the Adidas searches, also targeting the UK. Again, we have the ad group, which says all Adidas products. We have all products, shorts as a product group, and then we have the Adidas black running shorts. And that's it. So for Nike, they also sell shoes, but for Adidas, we don't sell shoes, so we didn't break it out. So you can see this is very, very simplistic view of the actual campaign, if this was really a retailer selling both products, it will look a lot more sophisticated. But I hope you get the hang of subdividing that all product group into different types of categories or brands or actual bestsellers versus simple ones. When should you use multiple campaigns? So I've shown you before an example where I had one campaign, and then in the previous example I've shown you that I had different campaigns based on the brand. How many campaigns should you use? Well, you're gonna need different campaigns if you're targeting different countries or languages, because you're using different product feeds for those, so you have to set up different campaigns. You also have to set up multiple campaigns if you want to do search query level bidding. This is a pretty complex topic, and I cover it in depth in the advanced optimization module. But it basically, you're going to be splitting your search queries, let's say between branded and non-branded searches. So to do that, you have to have multiple campaigns with the same products. You can also create a limited set of products with their own budget and based on the category, product type, brand, or item ID, or different custom labels. And these are the examples that I've just shown you. That campaign targeting the branded searches for Nike, and then a campaign targeting the branded searches for Adidas. And you can also set up campaigns for different devices. So at the start, you probably don't have to do this. There's a way to control your spend on mobile versus desktop. But if you get really sophisticated, you might need different campaigns for different devices. So you would have a campaign targeting all Nike products on desktop, and you would have one on mobile. I'm not suggesting you do this quite yet, but just know that it's possible. Next are some reasons why you would have multiple ad groups. Well, most people in most campaigns have one single ad group, and this is the most common one, to have one ad group and then have a product group that you subdivide according to your wishes. But it's also possible to have multiple ad groups based on those same criteria: category, brand, product type, item ID, etc. And the reason for that is that you get a lot more information and a lot more data on the actual performance of an individual SKU or product. So you can, for example, see which product triggers which searches, which isn't really possible if they're grouped in the same ad group. So probably at the start you want to use a single ad group, but know that it's also more sophisticated and people do use it. And you can take it to the other extreme, where you have SKU level ad groups, where you have a single ad group for each product, and there you know exactly which product is targeting which search queries. So you can bid up and down based on that and spot performance gaps a lot more quickly. But as I said, this is already a pretty advanced one, and it's not so easy if you're setting this up manually. So imagine you have 1,000 products and you want to do this for each search query for each product. That's gonna take you a while. So this is often done through tools or something. But I wanted to mention it here just to show you that it is in fact possible, and it is an approach that some people that I've seen some people use. In what follows, we're mainly going to focus on that single ad group and subdividing that further. But in the advanced optimization module, I show you a couple of examples on what you can do with multiple ad groups and also how to set these up. Then we come down to the product group level. So when should you have multiple product groups? Well, always. There's no reason not to subdivide them. And you can subdivide them based on category, product type, brand, item ID, or custom labels. And there are multiple subdivisions possible. So you can first subdivide them on brand, and then on product type, and then split out the actual item IDs. And know that every time you subdivide a product group, it will actually, so if we do it, for example, on brand, and we subdivide it into Nike and Adidas, automatically Google Shopping will create an everything else in ad group product group. And that's sort of a catch-all for all of the products that we didn't select. So all of the brands that are not Nike or Adidas that are in that ad group. Let me show you how that's done in practice. So here is the all products group. To split that up, I can see here the plus and it says add subdivision. So if I click that, I have all of those subdivisions or options as you can see. So here automatically it's selected product type. Well, all of my products are posters, so I'm not gonna really be able to do a lot with that, but I have discovered something in brand, and this is actually something that I didn't set up correctly. So I have all of my products are multiple brands. So I'm gonna select all of them, here select it, and continue to edit bids, and then I can actually set the different bids based on those. So right now I'm just gonna keep that, hit save, and here you can see actually my all products group, which had 724 posters. Now it's subdivided into 3 different brands, which isn't really correct, but you get the meaning. And you also see that there's a 4th product group that was created, which has everything else. So this is empty because we split out all the brands. But if you actually hover over, you can see what's inside. So here we can see 550 products were submitted, and here actually 548 are ready to serve. Over here we have 90 products. We see here we have 84 products. Okay, so like this you can quickly spot any errors you make here. So let's say we want to subdivide this in more detail. Let's actually subdivide it based on item ID. So it were 500 products, so we'll do that. And this is a quick tip: if you're subdividing in product groups and they're pretty big ones. So now it seems that we've selected all of the products. But if we actually scroll down and Google is loading more items, we see that here that they're unchecked. So you see a minus, which means that they're not all checked. So to make sure that we select all the products, we have to scroll totally to the bottom and then check it again. And then we do save without editing bids, and we'll just take the bid from the higher level. So it will take a while because it's 500 products. It's not ideal. But here we can actually see all of the products, all of the individual products broken out into their own product group. And we can set different bids based on their performance. So we just launched this campaign, so there's no data, but imagine that over time we can see like some products doing really well when it comes to impressions and others not. And ideally we want to see here which products are doing the conversions or are converting well. And then actually we can raise that CPC to get even more visibility. But I'll show you about the CPC in one of the next lessons. So sometimes you don't need to split all of your items out. As I said, sometimes you want to just select a couple of brands and then have everything in the everything else product group. You can see that once you will have this everything else catch-all group on each level. So we had that on the brand level, and then here on the product level. If we scroll down through 500 things, wasn't a good idea. You can see here everything else in Apes in Space. So everything else from that brand. It's also a catch-all, and right now it's empty. But let's say we add more products to the specific brand, they will start up showing here. That takes care of the actual product groups. Let's look at how to create another ad group. So here, I'll go back to ad group, select another one. I'm gonna call this, I had a different brand, so Apes in Space posters. I'm gonna set a little bit a higher bid, 25, I'm gonna hit save. Okay, so now I have 2 ad groups. So if I have products in both ad groups, I can't really see the actual performance. So I have to make sure that the products that I have here actually don't show up in the other ad group. So you will do that by excluding, I'm gonna here remove this level to make it a bit more quick. So as you can see, I had 3 brands here, but now actually I've created an ad group for just those posters. So we want to take them out of here. So we click here and we do exclude. Okay, so they're excluded here. And now that means that we can, we're going to do brand. We're going to select just this brand, save without editing. Okay, and then, so then we have this brand split out. Then we want to make sure that we hit exclude here to make sure that we're also not targeting the other products here. So right now we've split up those different brands in different ad groups. But you always have to pay attention to this excluded one. Otherwise, you're going to set up a structure and actually forget to mark this excluded button, and then your filtering isn't going to work. So this is an important one to keep in mind. You can also set up different campaigns based on each of those items, as I've shown you. So I'm quickly going to show you, set up a new campaign, a shopping campaign, no go, all these default ones. Yeah, doesn't really matter yet. But here, actually, what I want to pay attention to is here the inventory filter. And this is really, you're going to filter your products based on specific criteria. So by default, it's including all of the products, but we can, for example, if we want to set up a campaign based on the brand, we have those same subdivisions here. We're going to pick brand equals, and then it will actually show the values. Select apes in space, and this is going to tell how many products there are. Then I'm just going to hit save, and this will create a campaign just targeting these products. And that's how you split up into multiple campaigns.